you are going to be tested by the fire that proceeded out of the mouth of the Mashiach, which is the law. Flat out, cut and dry. It's I was gonna read this story out of the Josephus. But no, let's go to verse 16, same chapter. Verse 16.
Verse 16. For as I conceive in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. For they that were not left were in heaviness.
They that were not left were in heaviness. When we read, I'll just read it for you real quick. 1 Peter, chapter 1, verse 6, it says, wherein you greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations. So those who, when it says, for they which are not left were in heaviness, this is the temptations, but it's talking about the people who are taken away before the end comes. It says, woe to those who are left when the end comes, but much more woe to the people who not there, who was taken away before this even came about. So it's even worse for them. Let's keep reading verse 18.
Verse 18. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them.
So what we just saying, what we say in the beginning, what do shall happen mean? It's going to happen for certain, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare.
Go ahead.
Yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days.
And not, that's cool right there. And not to see the things that happen in the last days. So he's saying, if you read when I say, it's giving a breakdown of why it says, woe to them that are left in those days, but much more woe to them that are not left in those days. And just to give you an analogy, when you read verse 20, it says, yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into those things than to pass away as a cloud, like the unrighteous do, like what they said, our breath is but a vapor, right? But to pass away as a cloud out of the world, not seeing the things that happen in the last days. Now, an analogy. Let's say we in a car, right? And we're driving down the road. If the person in the passenger seat don't have a seatbelt on and he's sleeping, and the person that's driving is driving, you know, even if he don't have a seatbelt on, and it's a truck coming dead at you, who most likely to survive? The driver, absolutely. Because he can see the truck coming right at him, so he can brace for the impact. But the person that's asleep next to him had no idea what was coming down the pipe. And he was just, you know, unbeknownst to him, he just woke up, well, or maybe didn't wake up. Because he wasn't able to see what's going to happen. Like it's saying, in the latter days, if you see the world going to hell, then you can brace for the impact. You can decide that, you know, I'm going to get myself together. But if you thinking like the ungodly who felt like, oh, you know, you only live once, YOLO, it was, you know, you're not taking it for what's really coming ahead. You just it is what it is. You know what I mean? Because or if something happened to the point where you didn't see the world going to hell and you think it's all good, you just, hey, we only live once. Let's live it up. Let's get drunk and holler at every flower that passed by in the field.
Video game.
Let's go to Matthew 24:13. Last script.
Back to what's happening.
Exactly. I mean, they've been saying it thousands of years ago. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Is that Matthew what?
24, verse 13. Actually, let's start at... That's cool. Verse 13.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
In a nutshell, right? That's all to it. He that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. And the same, if we, let's go to one more script, last one, I promise. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Right. We have to endure unto the end. Endure these temptations and the fiery trial unto the end, right?
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Because you'll have people that say, well, what are we supposed to do then? If this was going to happen, what are we supposed to do? How am I supposed to live? Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Fear Yahuwah.
Fear the Most High.
And keep his commandments.
Because the fear of the Most High is the beginning of understanding. Once you get to understand, once you get to this book, and you start to fear the wrath of the Most High, knowing that he can come down on your tail and with the breath of his mouth burn you up just like that. Fear the Most High, that's the beginning of understanding. Once you understand that, then you start to get into what everything else you need to do. And let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High, that's the beginning. And keep his commandments. That's the rest. Right? All right. Any questions? Go ahead.
No.
No question? Oh, okay. Go ahead. Any more? What? Oh. No, that's all I got. That's all I got to spare. If anybody else got something to add, feel free.
Is there a title to this lesson?
Fire baptism. No questions? All right.
So yeah, I got a question.
Statements.
Go ahead.
So so when he come back, he go baptize us again in what? In fire?
You're going to be immersed in fire. You tried. You brought through the fire. Presented as a sacrifice, a living sacrifice. And in fact, I'm going to read this story out to Josephus for y'all. I got one more. Read this story out to Josephus. Antiquities of the Jews, book 4, chapter 3. Yeah. Antiquities of the Jews, book 4, chapter 3. Chapter 3, and what is it? Section, division 4. Paragraph. And now Moses. Yeah. Anybody use this?
And now Moses called for those that contended about the priesthood, that trial might be made who should be priests.
Okay, because remember Moses was the one who led the children. I know y'all know this. But Moses is the one that led the children of Israel out of Egypt, right? And it was Korah. I think it was Korah. But however, there was people who, it was Korah, felt like Moses wasn't fit to lead. They felt like they should lead, right? Okay, go ahead.
And now Moses called for those that contended about the priesthood.
So he called Korah. Come on. If you feel like you should lead, come holler at me. Go ahead.
That trial might be made who should be priests, and that he who sacrificed the Most High was best pleased with might be ordained to that function.
So he said that trial might be made who should be priest, and that he who sacrificed the Most High was pleased. That's who gonna be the priest, right? Fair enough. Read.
There attended 250 men, who indeed were honored by the people, not only on account of the power of their ancestors, but also on account of their own, in which they excelled the others. Aaron also and Korah came forth, and they all offered incense in those censers of theirs, which they brought with them before the tabernacle.
So 250 men came forth.
Wow.
Who not? But if you see what it says it's exactly. It says that who were honored by the people, not only because of what they displayed themselves, but because of who their daddy was, or who their granddaddy was. You know what I'm saying? But these were honored by the people, not chosen by the Most High, right? Read.
Hereupon, so great a fire shone out as no one ever saw in any that was made by the hand of man, neither in those eruptions out of the earth that were caused by subterraneous burnings, nor in such fires as arise of their own accord in the woods, when the agitation is caused by the trees rubbing one against another. But this fire was very bright, and had a terrible flame, such as is kindled at the command of the Most High.
So they saw this fire coming. Fire bigger and brighter than any wildfire, any volcano eruption, any fire that they set themselves, right? The fire so big and bright that it had to be the Most High himself that made this fire. No other man could have done this. Read.
By whose eruption on them all the company and Korah himself were destroyed. And this so entirely that their very bodies left no remains behind them. Aaron alone was preserved and not at all hurt by the fire, because it was the Most High that sent the fire to burn those only who ought to be burned.
Read.
Hereupon Moses, after these men were destroyed, was desirous that the memory of this judgment might be delivered down to posterity, and that future ages might be acquainted with it. So he commanded Eleazar, the son of Aaron, to put their censers near the brazen altar, that they might be a memorial to posterity of what these men suffered, for supposing that the power of the Most High might be eluded. And thus Aaron was now longer esteemed to have the priesthood by the favor of Moses, but by the public judgment of the Most High. And thus he and his children peaceably enjoyed that honor afterward.
So Korah felt like Aaron and his sons. We know that when the Most High instituted Aaron and his sons to be the priesthood. Korah and 250 other cats felt like that they should be the high priest. Why the priesthood ain't come through me? My daddy did this. My daddy did that. Right? So, the Most High set a fire that bigger and brighter than anyone ever. And it burnt up everybody except the one he chose. Except his chosen.
Daddy!
Burnt, yes. Except his chosen. Completely burned. Completely burned to where there was nothing left. Nobody but Aaron left. And he was not even harmed by the fire. The same way that when the boys was thrown in the furnace, they came out and they didn't even smell like smoke. But as you can see, it's, like you said, so when he come back, we're going to be immersed in fire? Absolutely. Absolutely. And those chosen, we're going to make it through. We're going to be tried. We're going to be perfected by the fire. And those who not, done. But as you can see, it was like, and after that, nobody ever continued. He said Moses wanted this to be a memorial, so everybody down through the generations would be familiar with the fact that this took place. So nobody would ever challenge for the priesthood ever again. And it said, and after that, Aaron and his sons, they didn't enjoy that office. Afterward, go ahead.
Yeah, did Abihu and Korah and all them, didn't they bring that foolishness from Egypt with them too? Instead of bringing the laws, statutes, and commandments of God?
I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and read. I haven't read the whole thing in a while. But clearly they was not chosen to be for the priesthood. Regardless of what they was bringing, if they was bringing the laws of what the Most High chose Aaron and his sons to be the high priest, and because they pretty much they tried to contend with the Most High.
And so just because you esteemed of the people, don't mean nothing.
I mean nothing.
So T.D. Jackson, the man going?
No.